Yeah. So if you look at this 54-page indictment report, do you think that it really has some very serious charges against Adani? Like if you heard Mr. Mahesh Jethmalani, he says that there is no evidence. Even Mukul Rohatgi says that there is no evidence, and the case is just that you induced people in America to subscribe to the bonds, that is the Adani Energy Green Bonds, without informing the investors. And so basically, there is no evidence. And he also said, Mahesh Jethmalani said that this is the doing of a democratic deep state. He went to the extent of saying that.
Well, I don't know whether a deep state exists anywhere. And if a deep state exists, it will have both Democrats and Republicans on it. So that irrespective of who gets selected, the deep state controls it. But be that as it may, you see, there is not only the indictment against the Adanis, there are two separate complaints. Lots of people read only the complaint against Adani. There is also the complaint against Cyril Sebastian Dominic Sabens, who was the CEO of Asia, the other company indicted. And
Yes.
if you read those details, you will see that the allegation is that not only did the Adanis pay Indian officials so that Indian states signed power supply agreements, but they went ahead and told Asia, look, we have paid. Now you please pay us 1/3 of the amount, which is your share of what we've paid. They wanted the share of the bribe money back because Asia could not pay it directly in cash. Then a certain mechanism was brought about where a certain contract was surrendered by Asia and then went to the Adanis in compensation. So it is, I think, a bit ill-informed, to say the very least, to read only the Adani indictment. Please read the accompanying indictment as well.
No, but both these lawyers in the morning, I mean, I'm talking
And
about
all this
Mukul
is in the public sphere.
Right. No, but do you think that this joint press conference by Mahesh Jethmalani and Mukul Rohatgi, to say the least, was misleading? Because many people have been saying that, they're trying to mislead the country, on the US indictment case of Gautam Adani. Do you find this press conference misleading as a lawyer?
Well, look, a lawyer's opinion is only worth what it is paid for. So I will not give an opinion, especially as far as this channel is concerned. And if I give things freely, it will not be valued. You may rest assured that the opinion of the lawyers there may have been worth something, but I think that they are both great gentlemen. They would not deliberately mislead. They may be convinced of their client or one-time client's innocence, or they may have their own opinion based upon the reading of the documents. But how much weightage an investor or a shareholder of the Adani Group wants to place on their opinions is for that individual investor to decide. I would be among those who would advise caution at the very least.
As far as the US indictment report is concerned, and if you look at all the charges in entirety, do you think that is there an exit door for Adani, Gautam Adani?
Look, there always is an exit door. There have been so many cases which prosecutors think are slam dunk, which have failed. It often depends on what witnesses say on their day in court and things like that. But the US system is not like the Indian system, where trials go on indefinitely and then the passage of time itself causes a lot of changes. In the US system, you have a choice of whether to risk the prosecution taking the matter to trial, or whether you want to plead guilty in response to an offer of a lower sentence. So we do not know whether Mr. Adani's US lawyers who are handling in this case, what they will advise. It may well be that parties will be waiting for a change of guard in Washington before they figure out whether the fresh set of prosecutors are also bent on securing a conviction. Well, there are plenty who think that in an incoming Trump administration, for whatever reasons, prosecutors may be persuaded to go soft in this case, or even to drop the case. We do not know what will happen there. But right now, what has happened today appears to me, at least, that along with the official intimation to the exchanges, a defense is also being made simultaneously in the public sphere that really there is no case to answer. I would, however, take that with caution, with extreme caution.
Now, since you very categorically said that you would take this as an extreme caution, how do you think would the Department of Justice or the Securities Exchange Commission in America is going to react over things like these when they will see that you have two lawyers in India who are defending Gautam Adani despite a US indictment report? Or would they not pay much attention to what the lawyers are saying here?
I don't think that the DOJ or the SEC in the US would pay much attention to what is said in the domestic sphere. Their focus will be narrow to the extent of crimes which emanated under the Foreign Practice Corporations Act within the United States. And there, a lot would also depend on their case against Kavins, who was the CEO of Asia.
But both Mukul Rohatgi and Mahesh Jethmalani saying that there is no evidence and there is an intention to pay the bribe, but the bribe has not been paid. Now, how would you? I mean, what would you say to this? Both of them said this.
I don't. I think that both of them only saw the first indictment, the 54-page one. Please read the second indictment as well, because if you did not pay it, then what were you asking for? A refund of 1/3 of it. So I would. That is why I said, please take all these things with extreme caution.
One or two questions more before I wind up the interview. That what will it do to brand Adani now? This US indictment report and the way he's being questioned in several countries, Switzerland, Bangladesh, Kenya, so many countries, now Israel as well. Now, what happens to brand Adani now? Will he have any borrowing capacity left? Are the countries going to be cautious in dealing with him? As the Kenyan president, William Ruto, inside the parliament said that we'll cancel all the deals which he has. So what is the impact on brand Adani worldwide?
Well, if I was his brand manager, I would be extremely, extremely worried. I would also be think that Adani Corporation's capacity to expand overseas has been severely compromised. But more than brand Adani, I am worried about brand India. This kind of conflating Adani is India and what is good for Adani is good for India is not doing India's brand any good. If all Indian companies which seek to raise money abroad or which seek to do business abroad are tarred with the same Adani brand, then it may very well be that in addition to Adani, other Indian corporations will also see an increase in their cost of borrowings. That is not good for the country. And unless the country says, look, we are going to set things straight, it will be very difficult for brand India to survive. Let me give you an example from the days of the financial crisis in 2008. At that point of time, the Korean government also acted through big corporations called the chaebols. So one of their biggest chaebol was Daewoo. And there were so many allegations against it that the Korean government itself, the South Korean government, decided to let Daewoo go under, whereas Hyundai and Samsung survived. So I think that it would be bad business strategy to let the Adani brand be linked with India. I hope that people are taking note of this possibility as well.
And do you think that this is my last question? Do you think
that is your best incentive?
Right.
To have yes.
No, I was saying that.
Go ahead.
Do you think that the Congress's noise or the opposition's noise on this US indictment report and the way the adjournment notices are being brought about in the Indian Parliament, are they all misconceived? Because that's what Mahesh Jethmalani said, that this Congress's noise on US indictment report is ill-conceived.
Well, you must remember that Mr. Jethmalani is also a BJP member of parliament. What he thinks of the Congress's political strategy may well be colored by his political affiliations. So whether they are conceived or well or not is another question. Maybe they could have been presented better. Another set of possibly explainer videos, which could explain exactly what has happened in capsule-sized content, could probably go a long way.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.